Hello there. Welcome to what is going to become a playlist or a series, the vlog of a MEXT Scholar 2021. It's important to add the year because the experience is very, very specific. A MEXT Scholar is a scholar that is going to Japan to perform some sort of training or studies sponsored by the MEXT scholarship. MEXT is the Japanese Ministry of Culture and Education. So, I'm in Japan, in a hotel room. First of all, I'm going to talk about The Arrival. Very nice film, by the way. Really centered around linguistics. If you haven't seen it, please do. The preparation and arrival were a very long and complicated, a bit stressful even process. And even to start with, I suppose, like moving overseas as part of a study scholarship would be somewhat challenging. But right now the situation is, like I said, really specific. I heard that some people were not let know of their flight date until 1 week before their flight to Japan. The flight is actually also sponsored and organized by the particular university or by the Ministry of Education, depending on the specific program. Basically, there is a lot of variety within different programs in different universities that all come as part of the MEXT scholarship. Well, normally the academic year, actually this is the second term if one has to be really specific. It starts in the end of September or at the very latest the beginning of October. But I arrived here at the end of October. That is to say, I started online. And some people that get the same scholarship as me are still not in Japan and maybe waiting to arrive in mid-November or early December. So the documents I needed for the traveling process and settling in, well, there was so many of them. I'm not an organized person and I had to, come up with several folders of different colors with labels on them saying documents for the trip, documents for right after the trip, and so on. Just to mention some, of course, there was the PCR certificate along with a special appendix that makes it the formal certificate to use in Japan. Then vaccination certificate, a document or a piece of paper where I would write my daily temperature and state of health for 14 days before arrival. Also local insurance, several pledges from individual to university to immigration services and individual to immigration services. All these were checked at the airport. And also a document that explains that I do not have a Japanese cell phone, but that I will be given one soon after so that I can download the appropriate apps that are used by the Ministry of Health in order to make sure COVID is not spread and quarantine is kept. The flight itself was just a regular flight. I mean, a very long one, of course, but it was smooth. I watched a couple of films. I was planning to watch more, but with a bit of sleep, I couldn't achieve these ambitious plans. I was sitting at a place, and not only me, most people, with 3 empty seats, so I could really lie down and take a proper nap. I met other Bulgarian MEXT scholars, a couple of them, because I saw that we were receiving the same emails, so I took the liberty to write to them, and that was really calming to to share this experience with other people. All right. The arrival at the airport was it was morning in Japan. For my internal clock, it was still the middle of the night, so a bit confusing. But the airport was really calm, really quiet, almost no people, as in staff, yes, but not many people traveling, which is understandable. So there was so many points, kind of stops, the stations to go through while coming out of the plane, including immigration services, where we were given a little card, a residence card that every long-term resident in Japan is supposed to have. There were all these checkups, including another PCR test. This one was actually with saliva. It's the first one I had like that. They put us in small, not exactly rooms, but like small parts of a big room where we were helped out by some pictures of lemons. I don't know to what extent that helped, especially given that the lemons were not very realistic. They were like kawaii lemons with smiles and everything. Also, the immigration services were a place where I could apply for a permit to work part-time, which I wasn't sure if I'm gonna need, but I wanted to have it just to get it out of the way. I'm not sure if I got it. I'm not sure if they accepted it or if my resident card says that I can work. I guess I'll find out at some point in the future. That's not the emergency. And all these stations, they were so well organized, and there were members of staff just at every step, like pointing you in the right direction, talking to you. And really strictly in Japanese, this was my first impression, because it did pass through my mind that just at seeing me, people would start speaking in English. Well, they didn't. And I thought, man, that's going to be interesting. And of course, it's going to be good for my Japanese. Then, at the airport itself, we were met by a travel agency that works together with the university that organized our trip from the airport to a hotel where we are supposed to spend 14 days. And yes, that's not affected by recent changes at the national level in Japan. Us as MEXT scholars, we're still obliged to spend 2 weeks in a hotel, even if other people entering the country can stay just 10 days, and soon maybe 3 days is what I heard, according to most recent information. Anyway, we were also given telephones that we can use to download the relevant apps. There's 3 of them, and at first it all sounded quite scary, like there were this big, not big, but like this handbook saying how we're supposed to install and use the applications. And like many instructions though, it was just way too detailed, I felt. At the end of the day, all you're supposed to do is answer calls when you get them and just press a button to show your location. There's something about instructions here that doesn't work well with my brain. They're just so saturated, and they include such a variety of like fonts and colors. It's just something in me doesn't make it go well. But for detailed, they are detailed and clear. So when I say 14 days in the hotel, actually it's a little bit more, because it is actually 15 nights, not 14, and it does not count any part of a day, like not the day you arrive on is not counted. So that makes up practically 16 days. I'm now at the end of my stay in the hotel. The room is absolutely decent. It's not narrow nor anything. Like there could be some misconceptions about this in Japan, and no, not at all. The ceiling is not low. I mean, near the entry, I can kind of touch it without tiptoeing, which is kind of rare for me, but otherwise, like the rest of the room, it's quite big. The toilet rocks. Let me show you the best part of the hotel room. It's my friend Toto. So Toto warms up the seat, and Toto has Lots of modes for cleaning. As you can see, you almost feel bad abusing Toto. To use up the end of rows supports us conserve resources. Here is not bad either. You get what they call rain shower, like water dropping directly from the ceiling, but it should be used with caution. I guess it uses up lots of water. I haven't tried it actually. The only places I'm allowed to go while disinfecting myself and wearing a mask is the convenience store, 7-Eleven, which is downstairs, actually sharing an entrance with the hotel. As well as an area upstairs where I can use the laundry, vending machines, and microwave oven. Vending machines, check. Kirin, it means giraffe, I think. Anyway, I'll get some water and I can even put ice in it. How cool is that? So what do I do in the hotel? Good question. If this can be of help to anyone that may find themselves in a similar situation, I can share some tips. First of all, I've been trying to work out my sleeping pattern. I have not managed at all. Actually, it's pretty dark here, even during daytime. There is another hotel really nearby, just across the street, a very narrow street, so it's not the light that is going to wake me up. So basically I'm nowhere with getting accustomed to local time. Can I do sport? Yeah, one can always do sport. I cannot use the stairs in the hotel. Actually, they're only an emergency exit, but I try to stretch and stuff as much as I can. What else? I talk to people. One good thing to do is actually even talk to people you haven't talked to for a very long time. If I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? So that has felt good, catching up with people. Also, actually, my university organizes a language exchange system. So I have been contacting some other current students, both Japanese and international. I have contacted some have contacted me, and we have exchanged languages. That is to say, we have mostly chit-chatted for now, but this has been fun, and I hope we can do this face-to-face too. Because honestly, when you talk on Zoom, like, you can't really tell if someone is studying in the same university as you. I've been studying Japanese in various ways, reading, reviewing my notes, watching videos. Having a long bath is a nice thing too. And also I have been spending hours and hours studying my subject area, which is computing/machine translation, but I'm not going to bore you with this right now. I'm going to make a specific video that's centered around my studies. Let us see an example of what a stranded MEXT scholar eats in one day. Food from the kombini from 7-Eleven. Alright, the receipt is entirely in Japanese. I love latte, what we call in Bulgaria frappe. It's coffee with milk and it comes from the fridge. It's cold and it's non-sweet, which is amazing because I don't like sugar in it, and normally when they're packaged I can't find one without sugar, so that's pretty amazing. We got some sweet dried plums. They're very big on plums. There's rice onigiri with plum too, the most basic type of onigiri. So they can be sweet or salty or sour. There was a sour and sweet version of these dried plums, so I'm going to try the sweet one, just so I don't get too disappointed by the sour one. Or maybe it's nice, I don't know. This is what I'm going to have in a minute. Chocolate bread. Nice breakfast. It's 6 p.m. by the way. Some apple. Banana. I do need my vitamins. I mean, I don't get vitamin D to start with. At least let's try to get the rest of them. Protein bar. Cheese slices. I finally discovered the cheese. Namera kana kuchidoke. Suraisu cheese. Suraisu cheese. Little omelets like these. And I have some noodles left out from yesterday, so I can do some combinations, omelette, cheese, and noodles. And yeah, that's all. They did give me a wet wipe and a fork, as if they can tell that I have to eat with a fork and I can't eat with chopsticks. Alright, this was my first vlog entry. I hope to show you more interesting things in the future. I hope to show you a bit of Japan, actually. That would be great. Alright, thank you. See you for the next one. Bye!